we'll start with a little commercial first, and then we'll go into the things. So let me just share this. And if those who are viewing, if you share this screen, you can also, other people can see your Facebook page. So I would like to encourage you to share the page, what you see now. Facebook をご覧の方は、このページを自分のFacebook の方でシェアしていただくと、それを見れる人もたくさんいらっしゃるので、自分のページでシェアしていただければありがたく思います。Today we have two parts. Part 1 is taking place now, actually. And so that's 2 o'clock in Hawaii, 7 o'clock New York, 9 o'clock in Japan. And so the also this is a part 1 and part 2, meaning so as you see, here's a part 1. That's all the prayer that we're going to have. And then part 2, the music, dance, reading, and those are going to be start from like 8 o'clock, 1 hour after this. And so this is the second part, the part 2, starting from 8 o'clock. And we have different musicians, and then the talks, greetings, and so forth. So please stay tuned after this. Okay, so this will be organized by Dino Aise, and she'll be introduced later. And I want you to take a look for the peace lights. So as you look at these lights, and this is considered as the, there's an explanation here. Peace light is internationally recognized symbol of peace. Whenever peace lights play around the world, people are encouraged to project their own peaceful intent and energies into the colors in solidarity with others who are seeing the exact same lights. The color represents different cultures of the world, while mention represents the ways that these cultures work together to achieve harmony, good energy, and peace. During difficult times, peace lights reminds us of collective energies of peace and nonviolence that are being felt and projected by others throughout the world, providing comfort in a unity of a shaded vision of peace and support. So I hope you will be able to see a little bit. So maybe you can calm down your mind and meditate first on the peace light. And you can reflect to begin with for the Pearl Harbor Memorial. And 1941, and December 7th in Hawaii time, 23 or 2,400 people were killed by the attack of Japanese military. And so that's the beginning of the World War, Pacific War. And so after that also, there are many people killed during the wartime. So in a way, this is a part of the reflection of the war, but then all the suffering that we have shouldn't be repeated. And most of the people who experienced the war share the same thing, that, we shouldn't have any war. And so devastating, and, has a lot of separation from the loved one. So it's the hope for peace and wish to create a peaceful world is a very, very essential. And with that mind, we are having this memorial service for Pearl Harbor victims and also the war victims throughout the world during especially World War II. Okay, so let me also now introduce James Lynch, who will be MC of this today's parts of today's Interfaith Peace Prayer. And here is the program.
Thank you, Baron Nakagaki.
Yeah, thank you.
And
yeah, you can start now.
Sure. Yes.
Hi,
good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, or good day, wherever you may be in the world today. Thank you for joining us here for the Pearl Harbor Interfaith Memorial Peace Gathering. My name is James Lynch. I'm going to be the Master of Ceremonies for this occasion. I am board member of the Heiwa Peace and Reconciliation Foundation. I'm also the current president of the Buddhist Council of New York, here in New York. One of the things I do want to have everyone mention, hopefully you'll have a napkin, because we're going to have origami. You know, this is a very solemn ceremony. We're going to have origami, so have a napkin like this, some kind of napkin. You can see it on my screen behind me. And later on, we'll do that. So if you can get that, that'd be great help. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment out to recognize the sponsors of this event. The Interfaith Prayer is sponsored by the following. First, it's sponsored by the Heiwa Peace and Reconciliation Foundation of New York in partnership with the Tierra Group. And it's also supported by the Interfaith Center of the USA, the World Yoga Community, World Awake, the Buddhist Council of New York, the Honolulu Myohoji Mission, the Community of Awakening to Love and Compassion, the Project Peace Lights, and the Origami Therapy Association. I'd also like to take another moment out to say greetings to Reno Asi of the Tierra Group. They'll be sponsoring the part 2, the music, dance, and readings and peace messages that you'll hear later on. So I'd like to take a moment to begin the process for the interfaith peace portion of this gathering. And so let's start off with the people who are going to be providing the prayers. From Hawaii.
Wait, maybe Reno to the greeting first, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Let me see, sorry. Yeah, I'll ask Reno to do the greeting at this point.
I am Dino Ice from the Tierra Group, which has been organization, human rights, peace, and culture events in cooperation with the Heiwa Peace and Reconciliation Foundation of New York. It is a pleasure playing for peace with you and appreciate all the service you provide to me. As we mark the 75th anniversary since the end of the World War II, there is an increasing number of people who have never experienced the war. In order for us to secure and live life without war, we must remember the pain, suffering, and sadness that resulted from the past wars and chase life we have today. Today, December 8th, is a 40-year memorial for John Lennon of the Beatles, who is one of the most recognizable voice in the 70s peace movement. It is my sincere hope that the event will help to maintain peace and bring a bright future for everyone around the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now for the Interfaith Peace portion from Hawaii, Kawena Opuni, the Hula Prayer, Hawaiian Hula spiritual teacher. And then we'll have Reverend Akamasa Yamamura, Buddhist prayer from the Myohoji Temple.
Akahayena Hawaii lo kahia kulike olu olu kamanao ha'a ko kulana ahunu yalana kila aloha e aloha e aloha e
Reverend?
Okay, can I go ahead? Okay. Hi, aloha. I'm Reverend Takamasa Yamamura of Honolulu Myohoji Mission in the Nichiren-shu Temple in Hawaii. So I'm very honored to be here to pray with you. Firstly, I'm so grateful for the Reverend Nakagaki and Rino-san to organize this such a very important prayer service today. 79 years ago, the attack of Pearl Harbor, which happened here, nearby from Temple, 15 minutes from Temple. In Hawaii, there are Nisei, Japanese American. They have Japanese parents who immigrants from Japan. They still remember the happening and they don't want to talk about the attack. I believe that they don't want to recall such a painful memory. Even our founder of a temple, Bishop Nishu Kobayashi, and our charter members, they arrested and they interned to the camp in California. Today, the next day of the attack, we will not be able to forget about what happened in Hawaii 80 years ago. After the attack, the census said that 2,479 lives were lost. They loved the family and they had hope for the future. It pains me, it pains us to think of their suffering. It is not known during the attack, 65 Japanese Air Force mainly had died. For American people, they were not victims, but enemies. But those who had died in the war, there is no victims or enemies. Everyone goes equally to Buddha's parent. We who are now living, what we can do for them? It is that we must build a peaceful world with no weapons. People will say, this is just an idea or just a dream, just imagine. In the famous song, Imagine, today's John Lennon Memorial. But we must not end us an ideal to build peaceful world on earth. It is human beings that create bombs. It is human beings who begin the war. Each of us, we must have the responsibility to create the peaceful world on earth. I don't know what kind of a commemorative service this year happened at Pearl Harbor yesterday, but personally, I don't want to see any more warships, fighter planes in the skies. This is enough. Italians say basta. So what they really want to is a peaceful world without weapons. I understand the fact there is a defense industry, industry. However, we should not give up to realize the peaceful nation without relying the weapons. So let us pray for those who had died at Pearl Harbor and world peace. There is power in the prayer. Our prayer will heal the mind of victims. In the Lotus Sutra, there is a healing power of the Buddha. So let us pray just the 3 times of the Lotus Sutra. ナムミョホレンゲキョナムミョホレンゲキョナムミョホレンゲキョ Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Next, we have from Hiroshima, Reverend Soken, Reverend Mitsutaka Inui, Shinto prayer, Kamigamo Jinja in Kyoto. Then we have Reverend Saken Danjo, Buddhist prayer, community of awakening to love and compassion. Thank you.
Dear Holiness and Excellence, I am Mitsutaka Inui, Shinto priest working at the Kamigamo Jinja Shinto Shrine, located in Kyoto, record with the World Heritage Site. I'd like to offer a prayer for the sacrificed spirit during the World War II, especially Pearl Harbor attacks. So the Shinto prayer offer from now. Toward to the east, or facing to the Pearl Harbor, I'd like to offer the prayer.「のところ日の元の国は京の都よりはるかに真珠湾を拝みてゆくりなくもその攻撃により米国が州国にては師走7日に見まかりませし日米両国の者の父をはじめとする御霊たちに対し慎みて申さく。今年は下終戦75年の節目の年なれば、それぞれが道に連なりし教えのさらが、時を同じくしてより御霊慰めの御祭りとともに、世の平けく安らけくを祈らんとする様を受け聞こ示して、心安く静まらんとするとともに、お出しき世のが国々の守りの神として、急がわしませと慎み敬いも申す。Thank you for joining the prayer.
Reverend Danjo.
Okay. Thank you very much, 中垣さん。中垣さん、通訳もお願いできるんでしょうか？
ちょっと待ってください。はい、じゃあ少しだけ。はい。
あ、そうですか。はい。 広島から平和の祈りを込め、またその思いを込めてのメッセージを伝えたいと思います。
I would like to deliver my message from Hiroshima.
私たちの内なる識別する力を失わせる行いは、優しい心の生き方から離れてしまった結果です。
Our mind is away from the our practice of compassion and so forth is very important, but then somehow those mind is away from us because of the selfishness and so forth.
生きとし生ける命を大切に感じ、あらゆる命とつながっているという体験と豊かな知性を高めることはとても大切なことだと思います。
It's very important to bring the wisdom and then the understanding the connection of all beings.
貪欲な心に目覚めさせられ、それを追い求める人間界は優しく生きることから遠ざかり、忘れ去られていき、
as we live in a world of human beings, sometimes we become so attached to our mind, and then we forget to live more compassionate way of life.
誰もが優しく守られる慈悲と慈愛の心に目覚める光り輝く優しい菩薩界の世界に必ずシンクロされます。
We need a more mind of compassion and kindness as the Bodhisattva showed to us.
日米合わせてのこの悲惨な75年経ったこの戦争の始まりは、その時の人間が確かな識別する力を失っての結果です。
This wars resulted from the misjudgments and based upon the understanding of the world, and so lost the way of right compassion mind.
慈悲と慈愛の光で守られる菩薩界と一つにつながる I love you の意識から離れてしまい、
The way from the I love you mind, which is a way of Bodhisattva.
分断する意識から怒りと偽りの心が目覚め、
Separation from the there's anger, greed, and have fighting each other too.
やがて相手の気持ちを大切に考える I love you の精神ではなく、
Instead of the mind of I love you, thinking of other people,
I love money になってしまったときに、私たちは自分自身の中にある優しさを見失います。
when you become I love money, then we lose the important aspect of our life or the mind of compassion, namely.
次の世代に向けて未来に良い行い、悪い行いを判断するには、自分自身を俯瞰し、よく考え、その結果を、呼吸を穏やかにして見ること。
For thinking of the generations, we need to be calm our mind and thinking of and then keep the mind in a realm of compassion.
そしてその確かな良い結果のイメージが描かれたならば、それを保つために、
If you have that ideal figure in your mind, then you act with it.
ジョン・レノンは素晴らしいイマジンという歌を書いてくれました。
John Lennon left a wonderful song called Imagine.
一つは静かな瞑想の時間を保つこと。
One is to keep the time of meditation and quiet time.
人類誰もが優しい心になれる I love you マントラを何度も唱えること。
Reciting the mantra of I love you and many times as possible for human beings.
そして私たちがそれぞれの国で信じている神や仏を思い念ずることで正しい人類の道筋が確実に生まれていくこと。
And everyone have their own religions and gods and bodhisattvas, but they can all praise those things, so those deity gods and so forth. So that is become the source of directions given to us to walk.
ハワイ・真珠湾で亡くなられた多くの方々に被爆都市、そして平和都市の広島より心からの愛との念を捧げます。
I would like to express my deepest sympathy to the people who lost their lives here in Pearl Harbor, and I would like to give this message from the city of Hiroshima, which was devastated by the bomb of atomic bomb. Thank you.
地球上から武器や核兵器がなくなることを心から祈っています。
Deep from my bottom of my heart, I like to really see that those weapons, including nuclear weapons, will be eliminated, and so we don't have to fight, and we can live peacefully.
それはジョン・レノンが天国から祈っている気持ちと同じだと思っています。彼はピストルによって亡くなったのですから。
That is the same mind that John Lennon shared with us, because he was killed by the gun, and so it's the same mind, same feeling shared.
ありがとうございました。
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
中垣先生、ありがとうございます。
こちらこそすみません。Sorry. I didn't have text with me right now. I couldn't find it, so that's why I have to listen to you this time. But yeah, thank you very much for sharing.
Yeah.
It worked out beautifully. Now from New York, we have Guruji Dilip Kumar Sankapan, Hindu Prayer World Yoga Community. There's a beautiful face. And then we have next Imam Muhammad Shahidullah, Muslim Prayer Interfaith Center of the USA. And then finally we have...
Sorry.
That's all right, take your time.
Okay.
Thank you. Reverend Susanna Stefanacci, Macomb, Christian Prayer World Open.
Guruji.
Namaste everyone. Aloha. It's my honor to be part of this event. I thank Dr. T.K. Nagasaki and James Lange from Heiwa Foundation and all the people from Tiara and my interfaith friends and the audition musicians, because this is an event to reconciliation between two cultures and the past issues. I'm glad this is a good initiation. I hope everybody will work together to avoid conflict between nations and cultures. That's why we work hard at the UN. Here I want to do a prayer from Vedic traditions, so over 5,000 years old. There's this prayer for all the past souls and those who are suffering currently and those who are going to suffer from the past experiences. Om, Om, Om Trayambagam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarugumyo bandana mrityur mukshayamamrdat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam. Urvarugumyo bandana mrityur mukshayamamrdat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam. Urvarugumyo bandana mrityur mukshayamamrdat. Om Sarvesham Swastirbhavatu. Sarvesham Shantirbhavatu. Sarvesham Punam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarve Bhavantu Suginaga. Sarve Sandhu Niramaya. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Gaccheddu Kapad Bhave. Asadoma Satkamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amradam Gamaya. Om Bhuvanamada Purnamidam Bhuna Purnamudachyate. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yoga Samasta Sugino Bhavantu. Yoga Samasta Sugino Bhavantu. Yoga Samasta Sugino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace. Thank you.
Muhammad?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace, mercy, and blessings of Allah be with you. I want to say thank you to give the opportunity for the prayer for Harbor Memorial Interfaith Peace Prayer for those people lost life on this day. I'm so proud and happy to meet all interfaith leaders from around the world, especially in America, and especially the moderator and Dr. T.K. Nagasaki, who is the founder of Heiwa Peace and Reconciliation Foundation. I want to start the prayer as a Muslim. Allahumma anta salam wa minka salam tabarakta jal jalali wal ikram. O Allah, you are peace, and from you is peace. Blessed are you, O majestic and generous. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad said, peace be upon him. You will not enter paradise until you believe, and you will not believe until you love each other. Shall I show you something that if you did, you would love each other, spread peace between yourselves? And he said, to feed the hungry and greet with peace those you know and those you don't know. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, praise to the Lord of the universe who has created us and made us into tribes and nations that we may know each other. O Allah, unite our nation around the principle of justice, peace, love, and faith. Unite our world. Put peace and love in our heart, for the diversity that makes our nation so beautiful. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. Make our heart generous so that we may treat as we wish to be treated ourselves. Help us to share that which we have with others. For your sake, strength, love us and be kind to us all. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Those were very beautiful prayers. Maybe keep the mantra, I love you, and love in our hearts.
Susanna?
Now we're going to have maybe a 2-minute, I guess, 1-minute break.
Susanna, please.
I'm sorry, Susanna. Sorry, Susanna.
Konnichiwa to our Japanese friends in Japan. Aloha to our friends in Hawaii. Namaste to our Hindu friends. Assalamu alaikum to our Muslim friends. Thank you so much, Reverend Dr. T.K. Nagasaki, for your important work, and to James Lynch and to everyone here. Christianity is very simple in a sense. It says God is love. And it is loving one another that we know God. And the harder part of Christianity is forgive your enemies, which very much in line with Buddhism. I don't know if any of you know this, but today, December 8th, 1.2 billion Catholics are celebrating the feast of the Immaculate Conception. This is the conception of Mary, the Blessed Mother of Christianity, as a pure vessel without sin by God's grace. She embodies boundless love, compassion, mercy, devotion. And I was actually baptized on this day 61 years ago. You know, when I think of the divine aspect of, you know, the Divine Mother, if more women were religious leaders and political leaders, I think maybe there might be less war, because mothers wouldn't send their children to war. And I think about that often during they say, you know, in war, the soldiers call out to their mothers. And my own father, in pain before he died, called out to his mother. So the divine, the feminine aspect is very, very important. And we could expand this in Buddhism. Kuan Yin, right, is the goddess of mercy and compassion. Parvati, yes, in Hinduism, represents purity and devotion and love. So this, I don't know if you can see, is a Catholic rosary. Very traditional, it's very beautiful. And I'm going to pray the Hail Mary, a very traditional prayer. And the rosary has 108 beads. I think about the Buddhist mala, right? Or every tradition, Muslims have prayer beads, Sikhs, Shinto. And there's 108 beads. I grew up praying these, and each bead is a prayer, but most of it is devoted to the Blessed Mother. Okay, so very traditionally, you take the cross and you, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. And to Kuan Yin. Kuan Yin, you who hears the cries of the world, please hear our outpouring of sorrow and hope. We call out to you as frightened children who seek protection and comfort in a mother's arms. May all who suffer from loss and grief, from horror and outrage, become fountains of wisdom and compassion flowing out into the world. With compassion, may we overcome our self-centeredness in order to create a better world for all, one that benefits all. So let us think about, we devote these prayers to the people lost on Pearl Harbor Day, but also to their wives, their mothers, their children, and all the generations after. And also to all war around the world, including this kind of war of COVID, to all those who have been lost and their families. Thank you for the honor of being here. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I just wanted to say that was beautiful, and remind me of one thing I should have said, that today is also the Buddha's Enlightenment Day. Gained enlightenment. And so we always say, what did he gain enlightenment to? The unity and love that is in the universe and in each person and in all faiths and paths. So I wanted to make sure I said that based upon what you were saying. Now we're having a music interlude. We'll take Venerable Nakagaki, did you want to take a 1 minute break, or did you want to just continue to go through?
So this is a song about the life. So actually respecting the life and is the essential for peace. So I'd like to perform this one by Heiwa Peace Band. And here's the song. Hope you enjoy it.
That was fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now you're going to introduce yourself, and then
Yeah, I guess.
the next thing, the bios for Reverend Nakagaki and Toshiko Kobayashi.
So this is me, basically. And so we've been talking about, actually today we will do the making those, oh, sorry, I have to show myself, sorry. So can you see me all right here? And so, okay, let me turn off this. Yeah, so, okay, hi. Can you hear me all right? Okay, so I don't know, somehow this one doesn't change somehow, the views. I hope this is okay. So these are at least everyone's here. Thank you very much for today, first of all, to all of you who attended and offering a prayer. And what we're going to make today is a little bit like this. This are lotus flowers. And it's a lotus itself is blossom. It's a very, very important flowers for the Buddhism. And a lot of time Buddha or Bodhisattva sit on the lotus. And then lotus flower itself represents the transformation and transforming the suffering into happiness or suffering into peace, violence into peace too. So the one thing that I feel like is very important to have nowadays is not just after you have violence and wars and they start creating the hate, but then that's not transforming anything. So in a way, the transformation should be something more different quality. So that's like a compassion, the mind of love, compassion, and those are very, very important aspects of it. So that's why today, what we are trying to do is maybe here people can participate from the even audience, people watching this program from the Facebook Live. Now is the time, so you can have if you have a paper. Yeah, great. I hope everybody has the napkin, and or origami if you have too is fine. But the napkin is better actually in this one, and it's because of the softness. Sometimes softness is a very, very good quality to have, and gentleness. And so, parts of the lotus always blossom in the mud, right? So muddy area, mud, not a nice grounded area. So if you don't have a problem, there's no lotus really. But if you have difficult, time, but then through the difficult, things that we may have, like a muddy the pond, then you could have the flowers of the pure flower of the lotus. And so in a way, those violence and difficulty, suffering become the source of enlightenment, or source of, really awakening of the truth, and also bringing true peace and virtues for us. And today we have origami therapy teacher from the Association of Origami Therapy, from the Origami Therapy Association, Toshiko Kobayashi-san is here with us so that she can also teach us some of the parts of the origami. But one thing we wanted to do is a more meditative way or mindful way. So when you make origami, not just making origami, but you're thinking of the one who gone before, and also maybe everything what you do is for peace. So you just try to fold one that's with a mind of peace. And so thinking of anything that you like to think is fine too, but you're thinking of the one who gone before, and then also maybe what we can do, what we learn from them. And then maybe because of the suffering that we have in the past, so we can do something nice and something compassionate or something kind to others, each others. And so those are the mind that you wanted to have when you make the lotus for today. 小林さんすいません。よろしく。
Hi, thank you so much, Dr. Nakagaki. Thank you for including me in this memorial. And I'm organizing a Origami Therapy Association, which is my profession is therapy, and I believe in the therapeutic quality of origami. And today, as Dr. Nakagaki explained, we are going to use a piece of very simple napkin and fold into a lotus flower, 3-layer lotus flower. And origami, may I explain a little bit about, is it going to start? If you have a piece of paper, please start following the instruction, which is folded by Dr. Nakagaki, because I have a spleen and I beg him to do it by himself. And he's such a wonderful folder. And we have been participating in Hiroshima Nagasaki Memorial for past more than 10 years. And this is such an honor to participate in this Pearl Harbor Memorial Interfaith Peace Prayer. And may I
Sorry.
explain one thing that is the same pronunciation as inoru. Inoru is to pray, and oru is the sounds is similar to inoru and oru. And at the same time, the paper folding is associated with spiritual ceremony and Buddhism as well at the beginning of our history. So this is such a suitable project for today to fold a lotus. And people here usually associated crane, peace as a symbol of crane. Crane is as a peace symbol. But that came later after this Pacific War. So holding crane, probably everybody knows, or it's a little bit tricky folding, but lotus is such an easy, simple way to fold it. And this looks wonderful. And if you have a little plastic candle, that is very interesting to see how it's right up in the lotus flower you folded. So Dr. Nakagaki, would you like to start the folding video?
Okay,
now?
Sure, I'll do that now. And let me see.
And like, I believe in reconciliation and not retaliation. And paper never kill anybody. If you are folding, you are not, don't forget about doing violent act to somebody else. And at the same time, paper is very fragile, so you need to take care of the paper and have a good relationship with paper. That's the beginning of the origami. So it's meditative, and you have to focus, and you have to use your brain and every sense of yourself, the touching paper. I hope you are following this. This is, as you see, there's a instruction coming out. And there are lots of 4 corners to the center. And if you have a large piece of paper, you can continue to do the 4 corners to the center more than 3 times. And then make it into a wonderful many layer petal. Petals is going to be many layers also. And Dr. Nakagaki has a very, how do I say, that some people here says awesome, but he has such a delicate hand. And this is not required for doing origami. And this model, however you fold it, it becomes beautiful and nice. And each flower is going to be different. And almost I hope you are relaxing yourself. And when you breathe deeply and rhythmically, that's nice to calm yourself down. So, and after you try this one, I ask everybody to try 3 times. And I think Dr. is people out 3 times. 3 is a magic number. You repeat 3 times, and your mind remembers how to fold the paper as well. And once it's in your brain, and then you don't forget. And if you forget, you just repeat it again. So now this is the most important part and the interesting part. You are going to form a petal. Just pinch at the corner a little bit. Yeah, and then this is not an easy step, but then you flip the paper towards the other side, and that forms a petal. I hope everybody is watching is following it. And I hope, Dr. Nakagaki, this is going to be available afterwards.
Sure.
Are you recording this one?
Yes, also.
Yeah. So now, and then the 4th one. And while you are folding, you keep breathing very well. And then the next layer comes this. And my apology if I don't have my hand with cast. I wanted to fold it by myself just right now also. So this is the last layer, the 3rd layer. And then if you fold it over, and you are looking at the bottom of the lotus flower. And once you fold and peel it off, now you are done. And just in case, this is the diagram, which has 2 layers of petals. Thank you so much, Dr. Nakagaki, for including me.
And so this is a part of the little prayer also, if you can hold here. And since we have a different revision pray, and then maybe this is a good time to have a 1 minute of silence and for thinking of, again, Pearl Harbor victims as well as war victims, and at the same time thinking of the peace. And may this light, transform the suffering into peace and happiness. You can pray your own revision or no revision, whatever the thing that you have, you yourself think of the peace. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Wonderful. And now we'll have a dedication prayer by Reverend Daijin Jeffrey Soga, representing Hiroshima and Hawaii, Waipahu Hongwanji.
Thank you. So please join me in meditate.
as we conclude this Pearl Harbor Memorial Interfaith Peace Prayer, let's reflect on the meaning of peace. We are living in fear of COVID-19, and all of us are hoping this crisis ends soon. I wonder how many babies were born during this pandemic. All members and fathers and all mothers and fathers are hoping their babies will be able to live in peace and happiness. It is our responsibility to give them such a world. Let's reflect and think how we can provide such peace and happiness to our future generations. To ensure peace and happiness, we need to be aware of and practice true compassion. I'd like to quote Buddha's words. The spirit of Buddha is that of great loving kindness and compassion. The great loving kindness is the spirit to save all people by any and all means. The great compassion is the spirit that prompts it to be ill with the illness of people, to suffer with their suffering. Your suffering is my suffering, and your happiness is my happiness, said Buddha. And just as a mother always loves her child, Buddha does not forget that spirit even for a single moment, for it is the nature of Buddhahood to be compassionate. The Buddha's spirit of compassion is stimulated according to the needs of man. Man's faith is the reaction to this spirit, and it leads him to enlightenment. Just as a mother realizes her motherhood by loving her child, then the child reacting to that love feels safe and at ease. Please join me to recite. I will repeat 3 times. May peace and tranquility prevail the world. Please join me. May peace and tranquility prevail the world. May peace and tranquility prevail the world. Thank you.
And now we'll have some acknowledgements from Reverend Nakagaki. I guess this is it for this section for part 1.
Yeah, right. So thank you to be a chair MC for today. So I really appreciate very much for being a chair, and so this is such an important occasion, and I'm very grateful for all of the participants today, those who offer the prayer for us, and then for everyone, what I mean. And I hope we'll continue to this tradition, and the next year is a 40th year. I mean, what's 80? No, from the 40, so 80, sorry. And 40 year is John Lennon's 40th year anniversary today. Sorry, mixed up. But so I just wanted to really feel its importance of this. And then sometimes the war could be just creating the hate and, more of the, what do you call it? Or he's an enemy, the friends, kind of relations. So we separate us by the wars, and one is this side and other side. But in the end, we will really need to be together and thinking of we are all human, beings maybe, and we share this earth, and so that's spirit. Then even the war shouldn't be necessary, and we don't need weapons to harm others either. And so hopefully, I don't know how it's going to take, but I think we will start from here today and continue to be able to do something about be compassionate to each other or yourself also included. And then all the, creatures and this earth, planet of Earth as well. So with that, I would like to thank everyone again to joining us today, and but we will continue. So don't go away. Well, actually, we're gonna turn it off this part portion soon, but I just wanted to, since as I said, it's normally actually I normally go to the Central Park today because of the John Lennon's memorial, and because he's such a person who dedicate the peace, and then we still follow some of us follow his past too. So I would like to share with you the video that I took actually last year when I went to the Central Park. Just a very portion, very, very small portion of it. And then there's a little imagined in the end, but so if you like hum together, sing together a little bit, not the entire things, you can do that too. So let me share that. And that's the end. And then also later we'll show another, peace light also as the way to finish. Hope you enjoy this. This is the Central Park last year today. Sorry, that's it for today. And so meditate on the peace lights of this is representing the world colors and all different colors of the universe and creatures and so forth, ideologies and all kinds. So thinking and embrace all those differences and show our respect and live together with harmony and respect, mutual understanding. Okay, thank you so much. Let me close here, and but 5 minutes, I'll bring it back to the second portion of it. Okay, so thank you very much, and you can come back to the same parts. All right, thank you. Have a good night. Have a good day, and yeah, enjoy the day too. Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.